Hello and welcome to a painting tutorial. Today we're going to paint a lemon and an orange, and guess what colors we're going to use? We're going to use lemon yellow, a little bit of golden yellow, vermilion orange. We will also need some water to get on our brush, a pencil to start your drawing before you do your painting. And you can do with one paintbrush. This nice big thick one is perfect. You can get everything you need with that. But if you want a little tiny one too, then this one is fine as well. So that you don't have to use just the tiny little edge of this brush. So here you can see the painting that I did already. I'm going to start with a blank canvas, and we will start with the drawing portion of this tutorial. So let's go ahead and get an oval over here. Okay. And this is going to be our lemon. And this is the face of the lemon where it got sliced. So here's the back of the lemon. We're just going to take this back and around, and we're going to take this up and make the back of a lemon. So this is an arcing line that comes up like this, an arcing line that comes down like this, and then they're going to just come back out to give this lemon, a lemony little place where it would connect to the tree. If you want, you could do a little nub there where the lemon is, or perhaps this is the other end, no big deal. All right, I am also going to do an orange right here, and this wants to be very circular and possibly bigger than the lemon. So with the orange, I'm gonna do a circle, hopefully get it nice and circular. If not, you can kind of go over your work to ensure that you got a nice circular orange. Now, you might be wondering what gave this painting some of this texture that it has right here. And actually, I forgot one last thing that you'll need. I have some salt, some fine grained salt. Thick grained salt is fine. The salt is gonna suck up the paint. I'm gonna show you a special technique today. All right, yeah, with this orange, I actually am gonna draw that little nub right about here, where this thing connected to the tree. It has this little guy where the stem was. The lemon, I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna leave it as is. I'm gonna flush out this oval just a little bit more. And I'm gonna start by, right about here is gonna be this white center, this pith. And so I'm going to create sections for this lemon. What I'm doing is I'm constantly coming away from the center of this oval. So if this is the center of the oval, then we are going to really get some good sections in here like this. And that's what happens when you turn a circular object on its side. We slice this fairly circular lemon on its side, and I've got a lemon right over here. I'll go ahead. Okay, so you got this lemon. If we slice through the lemon and you looked directly at this, directly where the slice was, it would be a complete circle. But once you start flipping it onto the side, that circle is going to become, we can best look at it like this. Here's a circle. Say this is the lemon slice, it's a circle. But as I start to twist it, you see that circle becomes an oval, which also means that if there were these central parts here, as you flip that, those central parts are going to change in shape, and that's what we're seeing is the change in shape from these things. So I'm just gonna come from the center of this oval, out to the edges, and you'll see actually as it comes really toward the edge here, these things get really short and fat. It's pretty bizarre how that works. We'll get into more 3D painting in 7th grade, and for now, can I turn this into 1 or should I turn it into 2? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, you know what? Let's turn this into 2 of them. All right, now we got 12 sections for this lemon. Okay, that's pretty good. Here we have our sketch for our orange and our sketch for our lemon. And the first thing I want to do is dip this paintbrush in some water, get some nice water going for it. And to really get an extra light layer, you know what you can do is you can actually just run this brush along the inside of the lemon. And this is going to give us a much more watery yellow. And for predominantly in this lemon, up until we get to the shadow part, I'm just going to use lemon yellow. So let's open up that lemon yellow, and I'm going to get a light lemon yellow, I'm going to dip into the top where there isn't pigment, and I'm also going to add a little bit of water to give me an extra lightness. When you add water to your paint, you really water it down, which means it's going to come out much lighter. So now we have this nice light lemon yellow. I'm going to come along the top first. I'm going to make sure that I cover from the top first, all the way down to the bottom. The reason is because the top, we wet that top area, but not the middle or the bottom. And so this paint is actually just going to get sucked right up when we start to come down here. It's just going to take it off. Okay. And I want to spread this out nice and even so that I get yellow everywhere. All right, that's my tiny little lemon coat. And now guess what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna run my finger along these bristles to open them up a little bit. I'm gonna pull some this way and I'm gonna pull some this way. Why is he doing that? Well, I'm gonna come in here and I'm gonna do a little bit of light lemony yellow right in here. Ignore this white central area, that's the pith. The pith is that inside foamy white part of a lemon or orange. A lot of citrus fruits have that, pomegranate has that. And then I want these pips, these little nodules that contain the lemon juice. When you cut open that lemon, you know, that juice came out right away because some of these were cut open. But then as you start to notice what's inside these citrus fruits, that vitamin C and that juice and all that goodness is contained. Each one is like its own separate little thing. So that's it for now. What I'm going to do is let this dry. And I'll show you the salt technique because it's very exciting. All right, so I've got a little bit of salt. I'm only going to hit up the top because this top, this golden yellow top, is where we're not going to paint any more of that lemon yellow. So I'm going to leave that there. It's going to suck up the paint a little bit and give us this texture, this grand texture that we're going to look for. And it's a warm enough and dry enough day that I think I'm just going to go right back through. Now I'm going to take some of this lemon yellow top paint and I'm not going to add water, which means this should be a little bit darker. And I'm going to ignore where I put this salt and I'm just going to come in here. Oh, that's a lot darker. It's a lot richer. I'm also going to continue to spread this all the way across this lemon. And then we'll come back. That is a very severe line between the bottom and the top of this lemon. And I want to work on that. So we'll come back and work on that. First, I want to spread this paint all the way from the top to the bottom. Really, you can get that edge right in there to the corner. You don't necessarily need that other brush. But if you want to come in and use a smaller brush, go ahead. We'll really clearly define these edges. Now what am I going to do? This is very light and this is suddenly very dark, and I don't really want sudden. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to dip this into the water. I'm going to squeeze that water off, dip it into the water again, squeeze that water off. And you know what I'm going to do is I'm just going to scrape some of this paint down. I'm going to pull from the top down to the bottom. I'm going to pull, 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 flip my brush over. And again, I'm going to do that same thing and just see what happens there, okay? And now this is going to create much less of a, now I can just get this, smear this yellow all in there, okay? This is going to create a layered effect for the paint. Once again, I'm going to put a little bit of salt to suck up some of this yellow. And now I'm going to switch colors. I'm going to let this dry completely. Oh man, you know what I didn't do? I didn't do this again. So, you know, now we can actually get in here and get a little bit darker of a yellow for these pips. So this is a good idea to do before we switch gears. Then I'm going to switch over to that orange while the rest of this yellow dries over here on this lemon. You know, again, if you push down on this brush, it should create the necessary opening so that it looks like these are all individuated lemon pips. All right. Gonna very much get all the lemon yellow off of here. And again, with the orange, or the orange, depending on where you're from, I'm going to paint water all up here. I'm going to skip this little stem area where I put that. And I just want a layer of shine. So really, I'm just going to put this one layer of water up here. And I am going to get even a little more water on my brush. And then scrape some of that water off on the side so it's not too much water. And I'm going to open up the vermilion orange, hopefully. And, oh, I'm going to spill it everywhere. So, you know, I'm going to blow this off. Okay. If I can clean up this mini disaster before it gets wet. Ooh. Okay. Whoops. That is really good reminder to open up your paints and do all your stuff not over your paper. All right. Anyway, I've got this. Gosh, this is really dark. It almost looks red. I'm gonna add a little bit more water to my brush so that I can get a very little bit of this vermilion orange. And two, I'm gonna scrape some of that paint off so there's not too much. Just to test this, I'm gonna put this along the bottom. Wow, that looks super duper 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 red. Oh, you know why? Because that's fire engine red, and I just grabbed the wrong paint. So hey, you know what? Mistakes happen. I'm glad I put it on the bottom first. It really did look red. I was out of crimson red, so I have this fire engine red, and it just kind of looks like that vermilion orange. But hey, at least this is a light layer. I can even clean my brush and add some water and get that out of here, and then I'll grab that orange. There we go. Nice. We got this layered paint effect going on. Okay. Whoops. I'm gonna set this right back here, and now I'll open up that vermilion orange. From the top, it looked kind of gray, and I'm gonna open it off the canvas this time so I don't spill paint everywhere. All right. Now I will dip in here, get some of that orange, give it a little extra water. Woo, because that's the orange that I want. Get the darkest part down here at the bottom this time and work our way up to the top. top is getting a lot thinner because we put that water up at the top, and that's good. That's helping to suck up some of that dark paint and give us a lighter color because we want that nice lightness up at the top here. This is going to be our nice light top area. All right. Yikes. Let's see what I can do about getting that a little bit of paint that fell on there off. Gonna get some water, and I'm gonna go over it with water, get the other side and go over it again with water. Yeah, and it's mostly gone. No biggie. All right, well, all right, with the orange, I'm gonna sprinkle a little bit of salt up here at the top. That's gonna suck up some of that paint just up here at the top, and we're not gonna go over that layer again. Getting there. I'm gonna do another layer of yellow. I'm really gonna wash this brush quite well. And then in this, I'm gonna take the lemon yellow and I'm gonna reach down to the bottom of the paint and get the pigment, the darkest pigment that there is. And I'm going to start at the bottom and get that darkest pigment in here and work my way up until this layer where there's no salt. So I'm gonna start here at the bottom, get up here. And you'll notice this is starting to look pretty good already. This is my shadow. At the base, it gets much darker down here. All right, again, I'm gonna open up these bristles a little bit. Maybe this will be my last time coming in here and working with these yellow pips in the center. Okay, cool. Did that. That's it for my lemon yellow. I can just cap that one back up. The last layer that I'm gonna do is at the very bottom, it's gonna be the golden yellow. But I'm not gonna do that quite yet. So I'll cap up this lemon yellow. And I'm gonna do a little layer of salt to suck this up. Oh yeah, before I do that, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna dip into the water, pull off the paint, and create this watery in-between layer so that it's not just a direct hard line. This will soften the edges a little bit. Okay. Now I'll add a little bit of salt. This is where I'm gonna put my golden yellow, so I'm just gonna cover that part. There we go. That's gonna give us some sucked up water. I'm gonna come back here for layer 2 of the orange while I let this lemon yellow dry. Wash this brush off real good. This orange is really particularly dark, so I'm gonna try to just take from here and not the direct pigment. In layer 3, I'll take more from the direct pigment to really get this bottom. So I'm gonna start about here and add more darkness. Again, I'm gonna really get some water going here and pull that paint so that this is not a hard layer. I want this to be not a hard line in between these oranges. And the last thing I'm going to do down here with the orange is this section. So I'm going to cover up that section and salt the part that's not that section. I'm gonna salt up here, help suck up some of that. Okay. This is gonna get my shadow. This is gonna get my dark pigmented orange. I'm also gonna get a little bit of this golden yellow over into that where we put the stem. So now with the golden yellow, yeah, I'm gonna dip down to the pigment and get a little bit of pigment. Really get that off. And I'm just gonna dab it over here where the stem is, because I can work that in there once I wash this brush. For now, I'm gonna take that golden yellow and start at the base right down here. I'm gonna start to cover up some of that lemony yellow. And this is not gonna be a thick coat. This is just gonna be the edge. All right, that's it. I do want to take a little bit of water to really get this lemon yellow mixed in with the golden yellow below. So I'm gonna leave, instead of pinching it off all the way, I'm gonna leave a little bit of this water on here, and I'm just gonna come across here like this and mix these guys in here so that it's a little bit less of a harsh, severe line. There we go. Okay. I want that to get sucked up by the salt. Now I'm gonna salt all over here. We'll see what happens with that. Lastly, I have this shaded orange part to do. And cap up this golden yellow and say thank you. Put it over here. Get all the yellows off of here. Looks like I've got a little paint dribble down here. No biggie. I'm just gonna suck it up with the paintbrush and it's gone. Now I got all the water off here because I do want to come down here to the darkest part of the pigment where this orange is. It really got some thick pigment on the brush. That's a little too much pigment because I'm not even doing that much surface area. So just picking up a little bit of pigment onto the brush. Gonna take the rest off of here. And then I'm gonna really get this bottom orange into a deeper, darker, shadowy layer. Yeah, at least it's not red like when I first was like, hey, let's put this orange on there. Why does red look like orange? And because it was red and not orange. Okay. Now I can bring some of that darkness up. And lastly, I'm gonna dip in here, do a little of this and a little of this. I'm gonna just get this stem real quick. I guess if you have some brown or something, you could add that in there at this point. You can really get this stem. All right. Now I'm gonna add some salt in here to help me dry this because actually this was pretty watery still and the edge is looking pretty good. So I'm gonna add some salt here to suck up the paint. And that's gonna suck up that, and it's gonna end up looking like this when it's dry. It should end up looking like this where the salt sucked up that paint. Until that happens, that's it. Let this dry for about an hour or two, and when it's dry, just go ahead and shake it outside, and when that salt comes off, your painting is done. Thank you so much for painting with me today. I'll see you all soon.